Hello and welcome to another SolidWorks Electrical video. In this video, I want to walk through how to create a PLC using SolidWorks' built-in PLC manager. PLCs can be way simpler than what I'm about to show. PLCs can simply be us dropping in symbols, like in a previous video, I demonstrated dropping in and also creating an IO card, right? This is enough. Just dropping in the parts, drop in a PLC, the actual CPU, drop in a power supply, drop in, can actually create a PLC. But that sort of separates everything. Everything has a separate part number. It gets a little, I mean, in the finished product, it gets a little funny looking. It's not really cohesive. We can do better. So Alan Bradley, SolidWorks Electrical has a built-in PLC manager, and there's sort of two ways to access it. I don't recommend doing the schematic. There is an insert PLC, and if I click this, I need to create a new one. I would need to create a new one because one doesn't exist yet. I don't have one in this project. As far as they're concerned, right? This is an IO card, but software-wise, it doesn't know that this is a PLC inside their PLC manager. I don't recommend doing it that way because their PLC manager has sort of two levels of functionality. The one we're going to use is really just a way to take all of the parts, the I/O cards, if it's got a rack chassis, power supplies, communication cards, all that stuff, and lump them under one parent part number. That's the functionality we're going to use. The other part of that is they also have, and it's pretty powerful, they have a built-in sort of I/O labeler. So it'll actually automatically label the I/O points, label the wires to match that I/O that are going in. The problem is that it's a little outdated in that it is based on the old days when PLCs had direct memory addressing. So it's sort of meant for older PLCs, sort of like the micrologics, where an input point in the software would be labeled like I0:0/1, right? That's a direct memory address, and that's sort of the way SolidWorks Electrical addresses things. But nowadays, in Studio 5000 on Alan Bradley's side and the TIA portal on the Siemens side, we have tag names and variable names, right? We don't have direct memory addressing, and their automatic numbering doesn't really account for that. So what you end up with is auto numbering that's not really any better for documentation purposes than our normal wire numbering. So why not just stick with the normal wire numbering, right? So I don't recommend doing the insert version because it's going to sort of try to shoehorn and force you to do that automatic terminal numbering. In the project, though, electrical project tab, we have PLCs. We can create it here and then insert it later. And that's sort of because I'm not going to use the auto numbering at all. I want just the functionality to build it. Um, and I'm not actually sure why this exists. Oh, I may have played around a little bit to 602 shouldn't associate with it at all. That's odd. Oh, it did recognize because that's a PLC class device. It's in the PLC input. So it did recognize that I had that as a PLC, but you can see it's just that input card. I get it. I'm okay. I'm tracking. I understand. But I want to add a PLC. We're going to add a PLC mark first. That's going to basically give us the ability to add first the processor. So I'm going to work with the compact logics from Allen Bradley because that's the one I know the best. It's the latest. The 5069 is what I'm looking for. Um, and I imported a whole bunch of parts. So in this list somewhere should be a 5069 PLC. I checked earlier. And this is part of what happens when you import just a ton of manufacturer libraries is you also get, like I probably downloaded 100,000 parts this morning. Um, like I might use 50. So that's part of the downfall is your list gets way big, full of parts you'll never use. So 5069 L306 ER. The other thing is it didn't come in with every 5069 PLC there are. There's a 306 ER, there's an ERM, there's a 310 ER, ERM, there's, all the way up. You can see the 340, that's kind of the big one. it didn't come in with everybody, but the 306ER is a perfectly capable PLC, perfectly fine. We're going to bring that in. Now, that's us adding the PLC. So we'll select it, right? I'm going to hit OK, right? N1 now has uh, the 5069 sort of added to it. Now, so with the compact logics, let's start there. With the compact logics, it doesn't actually have a chassis. Um, if this were a control logics or the bigger Siemens, I don't even know what they call it, frankly, I'm sorry. We would start with the chassis here and then add modules, add a rack, add a module, do things. Um, but right now, the top level is fine. There is one caveat, and I want to warn anybody watching this that might be in Allen Bradley land. The 5069, let's go and I want a property and I want to look here. The 5069, any of those 5069 processors do not come with power terminals. Ask me how I know this. They come with uh, a bare connector on the face of them that you can connect a power terminal to, but when Allen Bradley switched to this family of PLCs, they don't come with power terminals anymore. You have to order the power terminals as a separate line item. So what we want to do is we need to account for that to make sure if we are creating this to generate a bill of materials ultimately that we're going to order off of, that we're not missing parts. We need the power terminals in here specifically for this PLC. So I looked; they are in here. I don't remember what category, even manufacturer, because they bounce back and forth between Rockwell and Allen Bradley um, for very similar components even. And I don't that's backwards. So I'm going to manufacture them all. I'm going to all types. I'm not even sure I want to be in this class, but I'm going to search for a reference of 5069. Um, and in here somewhere, right there, the part number that we need is the RTB. Actually, there's two RTBs we need to be completely accurate, but it didn't come in. It doesn't look. So this is me working from memory. There is a 4-pin and a 6-pin, and there is a part number. Um, there's a part number available from Allen Bradley that includes both. So you only have to. It's like the RTB 46, right? Otherwise, separately, there's an RTB 4 and an RTB 6. You need them both. For now, though, just to demonstrate the point, I'm going to grab this terminal kit and drop it in here so that later, if I need to, it will show up on a bill of material. Right? That's why it's in here now. It's just here mostly so that I can warn you if you're going to use a 5069 processor, you have to order the screw terminals separately. They also offer spring terminals, which I prefer. Literally, it's just RTB6-spring. But since that part didn't come in with their library, I'm not going to worry about creating it right now for demonstration purposes. So now at the top level, the parent level, the PLC is there, and these circuits came. So the PLC's here, right, with all these miscellaneous PLC circuits, and the RTB screw terminal is there. Right now, I can click on that. I don't need to add a rack because the Compact Logics doesn't have a rack. I can, however, add modules, and this is where I will go in and look for my I/O. So again, I'm going to scroll down and see what I've got. I don't know what came in with the manufacturer parts when I downloaded them, but I'm going to look for 5069 I/O and just add a few just for demonstration purposes. It's going to be above AB if it's there. So there's an input. Let's grab that. Right? That's fine. Grab that. So now child card 1 is an input. Right? Come here and I'm going to add another module. And I'm going to look for 5069 again. I could use the same one, but I mean, I want to mix it up a little maybe. AB, I probably want to open that up so that I get Allen Bradley and Rockwell, I'm guessing. So let's go. Well, no, yeah, let's do it. Yes. Well, Well, I do have Allen Bradley and Rockwell. AB, Allen Bradley, Rockwell. So it's probably here in the type. Let's go to all and go back down to 5069 and see what we have. Again, the danger of downloading just thousands of parts is I don't know what I've got. Well, there's an analog output. That's good enough. Grab that again, just for demonstration. Select that. So now I've got a PLC with two cards. I got a PLC with two cards. So we can close, and again, here's what it's going to try to do for addressing. Like if we were to automatically address this using one of the predefined PLC symbols, this is the addressing it's going to use. But again, if we're using tags in Studio 5000 or in TIA Portal, this addressing doesn't mean a whole lot. It amounts to nothing more than a different way of wiring numbers. So if it's just a way of wiring numbers, we might as well stick to the wire numbers we're already using. You know, sheet and line. So there's that. But we've got a PLC for demo purposes. That's fine. We've got an N1 PLC and with some child cards. We'll close that and go ahead and insert them. And now, I mean, inserting them is relatively easy. I can actually use this symbol again, or again, I want to see. I'm curious. I don't know what came in with the manufacturer parts. I'm sure some symbols did. Let's see. Go to PLCs. What symbols do I have? This is the one I created, so that's the one I'm going to sort of jump to by default. Terminal information left. So these are the automatic ones, and I'll be honest, I'm not going to use any of them because, again, it's going to include some automatic numbering things that I don't want to use. But I can use my 16-point input card, right? Drop it in. And if you remember, when I created this, thinking ahead, I very specifically built this symbol with specific attributes in it. So in here, rather than just letting it create a card, over on the left, I'm going to associate it with my first input card. Okay? And it pulls in all that information. And this is the important part. This is, if we look, Allen Bradley's correct. That's the manufacturer. IB16. I'll show you the difference. I'll actually modify my symbol to show you the difference. And if you go back to the previous video where we created this, you'll see that I don't want to update. I want to open. You'll see that I picked an attribute for a very specific purpose. Like, let's go to attributes. So again, in attributes, blue are the things that are already used. Okay. So under manufacturer part, I did not use the base. Okay. I'm going to drop it in so that you can see it. In fact, I'll drop the reference because that'll be the part number, right? I did not use the base. I did not use all. I'll drop that in too so we can see the difference. I used current. By using current, it pulls in that card's information, not the base PLC's information. But I'm going to drop these here just so we can see what it looks like on the drawing. Save it, and I'll update it, and you can see the difference now between those three attributes. So symbol update, selected only. Oh, and then it made me a liar. It made me a liar. Occasionally, it will mess with you and actually grab, instead of 5069 IB16, it'll actually grab this part number. But now, the numbering is kind of important. I'm gonna go to my process and renumber marks because I created this PLC, right? N1 is the PLC number. I created it separately, not in the schematic, so it doesn't actually know what page and line number to give it. I can renumber marks, update them, right? So that it updates it now. So this card now technically it's inserted on 16, I guess, not 15. Well, I don't know why that is, but it updated this. The PLC N1 doesn't exist yet. I haven't put a symbol in for it. I haven't put a symbol in for it. So N1 doesn't exist. It doesn't have a page number. This card, though, now exists on page 6, line 16. So that is that. Now I would have to, like I said, I added those terminals for a reason, maybe back somewhere on my power drawing. or even control drawing or wherever, right? I might drop, I don't know if there's a symbol for it for that terminal. And actually, I mean, I guess an easy way to look would be to, let's go back to that PLC. The easy way to find out would be to just check what's already in the drawing. So, find the right page. And actually, let's not do that. Let's go to project and PLCs, and this is the easy way. I want to check this, and just go to this manufacturer part. And if I look at the properties, it should tell me if it's got a 2D a scheme. So 16-point digital inputs. Oh, that's because it's associated with the one I created. Um, 2D footprint, IB. Those are the things I created. I want to, so I do want to look at the like the default manufacturer part and see. So we'll go the long way, manufacturer part, PLCs, and I want that screw terminal. So we're gonna go way down to 5069 and find that RTB screw terminal right here. I want properties, and I want to see if it has a 2D footprint or a scheme. It does not have a scheme, so I would create one. And you can reference my previous video on how to create one for it. But as soon as I drop one in there, then I can update, and that N1 would change to a page number. But the reason I grabbed the tags or the attributes that I did, now this tells me in this symbol that this N616 card is part of PLC N1. So it's not just hanging out in space on its own like this one kind of is. It's actually attached to a PLC rack, and that's helpful. It's helpful documentation. All of this is intended to give us the best information that we possibly can get. The documentation wise, so that, I mean, frankly, after building a machine, like 3 years from now, I'm not going to remember what we did. Right? There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm not going to remember the details of how we put this thing together. So it kind of helps that way too. It helps the engineer that created these schematics remember what happened, and documentation never hurts. So we'd like it to be as sort of complete as we can, and the PLC manager helps us to do that. Again, I recommend using it through the project tab, not the schematic tab where it inserts. Because, well, I can demo. Let's demonstrate. Insert a PLC. I'm going to select an existing. I'm going to select N1. And it's going to want to bring this in. I'll just drop it here. This is a default footprint, and notice it's got some automatic numbering. And actually, that's not terrible. I mean, these terminals, so these 8 terminals on this PLC, I can vouch for this personally, technically don't exist. It's really just these 6. These are the power supply to the PLC. Those 8 you could probably use for Ethernet. I've done that before. Run like the Ethernet, individual Ethernet cables in there. That's getting a little picky, but at least we got the power now. And now, again, if I go to my process and renumber and update, notice now N617 because that's where I dropped it. N617, but this tells me that this card is 616, but it's attached to this PLC. So that's actually handy. I've never used the auto. So this version of the auto symbol is okay. I still stand by the previous statement. Like I don't have to create a symbol now for this power supply for the PLC. So that's good. That makes me happy. I still stand by the statement that I would not use the automatic symbols for IO because the addressing doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I guess you could. Like for instance, let's delete this. That'll get rid of the symbol, and I can insert it and show sort of how it does what it does. Let's go to schematic, insert PLC, existing, and let's grab that card. Select. So it's gonna, again, one, I like my inputs facing the other way. But I'm gonna drop this in and get out of the schematic escape. So it automatically numbered these, right? And in fact, it's short. Oh, it must have known it could only fit so many. Oh, see, again, I don't do the automatic one very often. Uh, I may have to, like in the future, change my such strong opinions. So let's insert a PLC. do I want to create a new PLC? Select existing. I don't want to create a new one. So we're going to select the, so again, it's backwards. I want it the other way. Can I flip it? Space doesn't flip it. Inputs, I want flipped. 12 channels per page. That's cool. So I can fix that. That's why it cut it. So there's 12, and without escaping, there's the other 12, or the other 4. Um, so I guess that's not horrible. I guess that's not horrible. I suppose I'm officially here now. I don't know how long because Zoom doesn't tell me how long it's recording like my other streaming software does. You're sitting this far into the video. You are officially hearing me apologize for complaining about the auto PLC numbering forever because this isn't terrible. And I didn't have to create these symbols like I've been doing for literally years. I create my own. I will say, I do not like the I/O on this side. Um, there may be a way to change that, and I will have to look into it to see. But it's cool. It also shows a break. It shows where it picks up. 612 doesn't make a whole. Oh, that's a cross reference back to this one. 217, 217. Okay, you got it. Got it. So yeah, I guess either way is acceptable. I mean, pick one you like. I mean, at the end of the day, you're here. I'm showing you how to do things. At the end of the day, your workflow is going to end up being your workflow. Pick the one you like. Also, I will say very strongly, documentation is important. Do the thing that documents it the best, in your eyes at least. In your eyes at least. I also don't like how this description now is over here and it's broken. I might have to change that, but I may have to. I am officially, again, at the end of the video, retracting my strong opinions about creating your own PLC symbols and the auto numbering. I'm retracting because that's actually kind of cool. But that's how you build a PLC. That's how you get all the parts associated, like all the cards associated with the main CPU. Um, and that's the way I recommend doing that. Then how you do the symbols and stuff. I mean that's entirely up to you and how you prefer to see your workflow happen. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end the video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully that was useful and or entertaining, one or the other. Usually both don't happen at the same time, especially in my videos. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.